just talked about anxiety, and the other big thing is just like pain. Everyone's looking for pain relief, and everyone's looking to get away from pharmaceutical and over-the-counter pain relief and looking for more natural therapeutic pain relief. And pain's obviously the topic of the study that we're doing with the University of Michigan. And I think when everybody thinks of pain and cannabinoids, it's CBD. That's what the media pushes, is like, take CBD, whether you rub it on a lotion, you have a pill, you eat a gummy, take a tincture, whatever, take CBD and your pain's going to just disappear. But, Chris, one of the things I'm really interested to look at the results just myself from this study is you have some really unique formulations in the study when it comes to pain. And you can get in this, you have your CBD and THC ratio, but then this THCA product, it's just a really unique formulation that you choose to put into like a pain study. So again, just kind of curious on where you guys came up with that.
Yeah, that's a great point, Tyler. And I do want to say, just in general and for the audience, cannabis is not a silver bullet. There's no silver bullet in life, but I think a lot of people say, oh, cannabis, it's the panacea, it's going to solve everything. It doesn't. Cannabis is amazing because it takes the edge off, whether that's anxiety, whether that's sleep, whether that's pain. And so I think it's important for individuals who are going to use or who use cannabis to understand, like, yeah, this isn't going to solve the problem. What cannabis is intended to do, as I think about it, is to help take the edge off, so then we can then deal with what we need to in our life and make behavioral changes or make changes in diet or exercise or stress to help us. So it helps facilitate our own journey, but it doesn't solve the problems. Great point. It can be very powerful in the facilitation, but it's not a cure. Yeah, for the University of Michigan, the pain study, I was really interested in trying to compare two products as much as we could to see the impact that it was going to have on pain. So one of the products is a 1-to-1 ratio of THC and CBD. And this is a pretty classic ratio of those two cannabinoids. It happens in nature. There's plants that actually produce this exact ratio. And it's nice because the THC empirically, and there's some research out there, is pretty good for helping pain. But the CBD helps to mitigate or ameliorate the psychoactivity. So for people who might be a little more sensitive, it tends to be an easier kind of experience. And then the other product has acidic cannabinoids in them. And acidic cannabinoid, the plant produces everything. All the cannabinoids are produced in what's called the acidic form. And then when you extract the cannabinoids, or you smoke flower, or you put energy into a process for the cannabinoids, you drive off CO2, and it converts the molecule from what's called the acidic to a neutral cannabinoid. The interesting thing is that the acidic cannabinoids tend to have very little psychoactivity. So THCA does not have the same psychoactivity as THC. And from our experience, and the very almost no literature out there, but empirically THCA is shown to be very good as pain management. And so we wanted to do a formulation that was similar to the 1-to-1 of THC and CBD. So we have a THCA and a CBDA. So we went with the neutrals versus the acidic cannabinoids in an almost identical formulation to see, if there's any difference in the outcome for the patients.
Interesting. That's cool.
Very interesting. And this is part of the study with the University of Michigan. Tell us more about the study. You're actively enrolling patients now with that, and specific for California. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's California residents, yes. As Chris alluded to earlier. It's hard to ship Chris's products outside of the state of California.
Yes.
So yeah, California residents, and chronic pain is a general umbrella, but then because chronic pain is such a general umbrella, we are targeting fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, and osteoarthritis of the knee or hip. And right. Similar to how Chris mentioned with his CBG study, this is completely remote and decentralized. So the individuals don't have to travel to participate. We really wanted to focus on that observational real world data where we're just incorporating a new therapy into their day-to-day lives. And from a low barrier standpoint, getting as much feedback and data from them on how much of the product are you using, how often are you using it, and then just generally what are your perceptions on pain and quality of life. But then if we bake in these very specific questionnaires that are your standardized research criteria from a quality of life measurement, from a pain measurement, and from condition specific measurements, what can we start to see in regards to therapeutic relief? But one of the interesting things, to circle back to the beginning of the combo, and I think why Level is a company in general, is like the emergent cannabinoids and this effects-based cannabis. This isn't a study on is cannabis or CBD beneficial. It's a study on, can we really start to identify trends when it comes to product formulation and dosing that leads to efficacy. Because with as much data and research that's out there on cannabinoid based therapeutics right now, it's largely, is cannabis or CBD beneficial? But like, you walk into one of the 600 stores that Level's in right now, and you're probably presented with hundreds to thousands of products to choose from. And they're all probably marketed as here's a sativa, here's an indica, and here's a hybrid. That's more or less the education that you get there. If I'm a RA, OA, fibro patient, I'm have very specific needs. And chances are I'm not the average 20 to 30-year-old person who's like just looking to have a little buzz or looking to have a little high. Like I got really chronic pain on a day-to-day basis that I'm looking to manage and help me get through. So like, what do I actually need to use from a formulation perspective? And like, how much do I actually need to use of it? And there's just really no data there right now. And that's really the emphasis behind this is, if we can remove cannabis and CBD as like the intervention medicine, if we can remove indica, sativa, and hybrids as we classify products, and if we can really look at what these products are made of, what is the actual composition and formulation, and if we can look at a product form that's more or less controlled, like a tablet or a capsule, we can get pretty accurate dosing. Because are you taking a half of a pill? Are you taking a whole pill? Like, what are you taking? It's pretty simple to ask and get that data. And then can we start to see trends in regards to that type of regimen?
Makes sense. You got to create some order in the Wild Wild West.
Right.
And you guys are leading that charge, which is very impressive with that. So for the average folks who have not used these products, how do they enroll in this study that you have now? Is there a number? Is there a website? What do they do if they have arthritis, whether it's osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, or fibromyalgia, and they wanted to evaluate and try out these products? First of all, is it going to cost them anything, charging for the products or not? And secondly, how do they enroll? What do they do?
Yeah. So we'll answer the cost question because that's a big question. And again, the pleasures of dealing with the cannabis industry. So Chris can get more into this because he's an actual cannabis or California cannabis operator. So he has to deal with this more on an intricate level than I do. But essentially, you're not allowed to give away cannabis products for free in California. So because we don't want Chris's company in jeopardy, and I necessarily don't want to go to jail or have legal troubles with this, the study is set up in a way that on the front end, there is a $15 fee. That $15 fee keeps the study compliant, which is the most important. It covers 12 weeks supply of products. So there's no additional charge for products throughout the 12 weeks of the study. And it also has the product delivered right to your door. So again, you don't have to travel to participate. At the back end of the study, what we're doing for that 15 is we essentially have a reimbursement option. So for people who actually participate in the study and people who actually complete the study, on the last page of the study, there's a link that they can submit to get a reimbursement. Because if you're actually participating and completing the study, we don't want you to be charged. Ideally, if we could have done it, the product would have been free. But also, I don't think any of us just want to give away free product and never hear from someone when we have a specific study that we're trying to do. That's how we had to handle the loopholes, so to speak, with California law. And Chris, you can get into any of that in more detail if you want to. As far as finding the study, everything's online. The direct link to our site is relief, RELEAF .at and then /UM pain. So try to keep it as short as we can.
Got it. Excellent. So $15 will get you 3 months of products delivered to your home. And the request for you, for the participant, is to give input on their symptoms, on their dosing and things. Well, the dosing's pretty standard, right?
Yeah. So it's essentially, each product has like its recommendation from whether it's from Level or the other sponsor on, this is how you should start and adjust accordingly for you. And Chris, you can get into that. It's text message too. So like we're doing this from, again, a very low barrier, low friction standpoint. We're not really trying to make you go super out of your way, hence delivering the product to your home and all that stuff. So it's text messages to their phone. So they set the time every morning that a text message comes to them. They're telling us, hey, send me a text at this time. They get a text sent to their phone. They click a link. And most days, the questions are probably going to take them less than a minute to answer. The only time the questions are a little more intensive is on the monthly check-ins. So week 4, week 8, and week 12. And the reason for that is we're just asking more in-depth questions reflecting on the past month. So 99% of the questions are going to, again, come at the time of day you select or you determine, and it'll take you less than 60 seconds to answer.
Wow. Truly decentralized, guys. Bravo.
That's what we're trying to do.
I got to add one more comment as I've been listening to this and trying not to cough here. A comment that you made at the beginning that you said so casually, and I think it bears calling it out. And that is, drug companies are always scouring the jungles looking for a plant that has some magic property they can use. Maybe it's a plant that has been used in traditional medicine for thousands of years, and they're trying to see, does it really have any benefit to it? Oh my goodness. It not only has this benefit, maybe it has another benefit to it. I mean, people don't realize, but they literally are scouring the planet looking for something they can synthesize. I understand they don't want to grow it. They want to find what that compound is and see if they can synthetically make it and put it into a pill or put it into a product here and get some performance out of it. You said that if the cannabis plant was accidentally discovered today in the jungles of some remote part of the world, it would be hailed across the front pages as a wonder drug.
That's a great quote, Chris, too. Yeah, that's a good call out, Paul.
Yeah, it's not me. Yeah, it's Raphael Mechoulam, right? He's the godfather of modern cannabis. So, but yeah, it's true. It's a pharmacological treasure trove.
And we'd only think of it as something to get us high, and people either react to it or embrace it, what a great idea, or ban it, what a horrible idea. And you're talking about 100 other compounds in there that have unseen benefits, like the ones you're tracking, rheumatoid arthritis, other sorts of things. I've seen studies on epilepsy and other sorts of things. This drug, this compound, this plant has all sorts of compounds in it that can have potentially amazing, maybe magical is not the right word, but amazing properties that we're only beginning to understand.